The Fall of Andy Dufresne, Chapter 1, The Trial and the Sentence. In the year 1947, the courtrooms of Portland, Maine, bore witness to one of the most talked-about trials of the decade. A man named Andy Dufresne, a soft-spoken yet brilliant banker, stood accused of a crime that sent shockwaves through the quiet New England town, the cold-blooded murder of his wife and her lover. Andy Dufresne was the kind of man who turned heads, not because he was flamboyant, but because he was composed, reserved, controlled. There was an aura about him, distant yet commanding. His reputation in Portland was stellar, vice president of a prestigious bank by the age of 35. Intelligent, calculating in his work, yet unassuming in social circles. He had a particular fondness for chess and classical music and was known to spend weekends hiking or reading. But on that fateful summer evening, all of that collapsed. His wife, Linda Dufresne, had grown increasingly distant over the previous year. Rumors swirled in social circles, whispered in salons and bars, about her alleged affair with Glenn Quentin, a local golf pro. Quentin was everything Andy wasn't. Flamboyant, loud, and perpetually smiling, with a disarming charm that made him popular with women and envied by men. Andy, it seemed, had known about the affair for some time. Friends recalled him acting withdrawn. Colleagues noticed a sharper edge to his tone, yet he never confronted Linda, not openly. He drank more heavily during those months, quietly, alone. The night of the murder, neighbors near Quentin's cottage reported hearing raised voices around 11 p.m., followed by gunshots. Our local patrol officer discovered the bodies in the early morning, both victims shot multiple times. There was no sign of forced entry. Nothing had been stolen. It looked like a crime of passion, not premeditation. And that was the nail in Andy's coffin. When the police questioned him, Andy did not lie. He said he had driven to the cottage, that he had sat outside in his car for hours drinking, that he had brought a revolver with him, a weapon he kept in his glove box since the war. But he claimed he changed his mind, that he turned around and went home. I just wanted to talk to her, Andy had said. I didn't know what I would say, but I didn't want to kill anyone. I just needed clarity. The revolver was never found. Andy said he had thrown it into the Royal River the following morning. Divers searched, but the current was strong and the riverbed muddy and deep. The gun was never recovered. During the trial, the prosecution took full advantage of Andy's demeanor. They painted a portrait of a man so emotionally constipated that he couldn't even express rage. They claimed he bottled it up until it exploded in the form of 2 cold-blooded murders. He's a banker, ladies and gentlemen, the prosecutor had said. He spent his entire life calculating risk, weighing options, controlling variables. And when he discovered the betrayal, he did what he always does, calculated the cleanest solution. Andy's lawyer, a court-appointed defense attorney named William Kirkland, was no match for the prosecution's theatrics. He tried to humanize Andy, brought up his service in World War II, his charitable work, his spotless record, but none of it mattered. What sealed Andy's fate was his tone, his detachment. He didn't cry when the coroner read out the cause of death. He didn't react when the prosecution showed photos of Linda's body, her bloodied dress, the shattered glass. He just sat there, stoic. The public watched, riveted. The press ran daily columns, dubbing it the banker's betrayal or the Dufresne double murder. Editorials speculated on Andy's psyche. Radio pundits argued whether his calm was guilt or trauma. Andy took the stand in his own defense. He spoke clearly and confidently, detailing the events of that night. He admitted to everything except the killings. I was angry, he said. I was hurt. But I didn't kill anyone. The cross-examination was brutal. The prosecutor grilled him on every detail, trying to trip him up. Why didn't you confront your wife sooner? I didn't know how. Why bring a gun? For protection. I was drunk. I was scared. Why drive out there at all? I needed to see it. I needed to know for sure. Why throw away the gun afterward if you had nothing to hide? I panicked. I knew how it looked. That last line did more damage than any bullet. He knew how it looked, and yet did it anyway. The jury deliberated for just under 8 hours. Not long, considering the gravity of the charges. The courtroom was silent when the verdict was read. Guilty on both counts of first-degree murder. Andy showed no emotion. He simply nodded once and turned to look at the judge. Judge Richard Hanlon, a man with a reputation for strict sentencing, didn't mince words. You strike me as a particularly icy and remorseless man, Mr. Dufresne. It is my opinion that you are beyond rehabilitation. Therefore, I sentence you to 2 consecutive life sentences, 1 for each of your victims. The sound of the gavel echoed through the room like a gunshot. Linda Dufresne's parents wept quietly in the back row. Glenn Quentin's family stared at Andy with open hatred. Andy's friends, few that he had, were nowhere to be found. Outside, the rain began to fall, thick and relentless, soaking the courthouse steps as the guards led Andy to the prison transport van. He was cuffed at the wrists and ankles, chained to another inmate, and loaded into the vehicle like livestock. As the van pulled away, Andy looked out the window at the gray world blurring past. He didn't see buildings. He saw everything he had lost: his marriage, his home, his career, his identity. All of it gone in the blink of a gavel. In the press, they called him the killer banker. In prison, he would be nothing more than 37927. He was headed to Shawshank State Penitentiary, a place whispered about in courtrooms and drunk tanks, a place where hope went to die. Andy didn't know it then, but Shawshank would become his crucible, a place where he would suffer, survive, and eventually transcend. But that was still to come. For now, he sat in silence as the rain lashed against the prison van, the wheels turning toward his fate, to be continued. For more interesting videos, please visit our YouTube channel and subscribe. Thanks for watching.